Holidays, everyone!
Hello.
Hello, welcome to On a Mission Silver Bells 3 recap. We had such an exciting weekend, and Emily the Elf is back. We have all the presents galore. The elf hat is back.
I'm
And
just Veda. Veda the
Veda.
Grinch is here. But not
No!
not the not the actual Grinch, because it turns out the Dr. Seuss estate is very litigious. You cannot purport to be the Grinch or have the Grinch around if you do not have permission. So I'm just a Grinch, not the Grinch.
You are Grinchy. You are
Yes.
Grinch.
Grinch adjacent. Yes.
Yes, you have the feelings of Grinch, not the actual intellectual property. Well, and for those celebrating, I also have my special Hanukkah sweatshirt, Menorahsaurus.
The Menorahsaurus.
The Menorahsaurus is here as well as Emily the Elf. But I am so happy everyone in the chat is here. And I see Brent Ross, a wonderful supporter of Mission Pro, Big Mike, also a sponsor and supporter of Mission Pro. We hope everyone had a wonderful time at Silver Bells. I know some of you were watching from afar, and then also I got to see so many people in person.
Yeah, some of you were there live. I think I saw. I had to watch. I watched it on Title Match, and if you haven't caught up with it, just so you know, there will be spoilers in this discussion. We're going to recap the show.
Yes, so if you haven't watched it, which you should have, I know there was a lot of other shows, but you should have watched it. And if you didn't, bless you. Bless you and everyone. Go watch it on Title Match Network. But we are going to talk about spoilers and bless you. What happened and all our biggest moments and most exciting moments. So, and our match of the night. So everyone think about it, and then we'll talk about it after. So I have to think of mine.
All right, we're ready to go?
Yeah. Is everyone ready? Woohoo! Emily the Elf. Well, let's kick it off with this was how wild the show started. Really wild.
Yeah.
We had like brother versus brother. Hold on, let me have a little graphic issues here. We kind of had like a brother versus brother match here. We had Joey Hyder versus JP Harlow, and this was our pre-show match. So this was bless you. Oh no. This was before the 6 p.m. show even started. This was to kick things off, and this kicked it off with so much fire.
I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
I was moving a bunch of stuff today, and like I think I kicked up dust. I don't know. I'm dying, but we're all good.
Okay. All right, hang in there. Veda, don't be. You'll get it. Just blow your nose. Get the Grinch dust out of there.
Here we go.
Oh no,
I'm good.
There was lots of blood in this match, Veda. This was pretty bloody. I'm all into death matches and I'm into hardcore matches for sure. Emily the Elf likes that. It might not look like I do, but I do. I like the
traditionally we don't see a lot of blood on the pre-show though.
No, this was a little unexpected, and we definitely had to take a moment to reset for the show. But I know everyone was really into this. This really started the show off hot. And people were into it. There was so much emotion into this match. I think there was a lot of emotional matches this show.
For sure.
Definitely, the Men's Revolution going against another member of the Men's Revolution. There was a lot of heat, a lot of chemistry, and it definitely had a lot of blood. But in the end, Joey Hyder defeated JP Harlow, and this was like a really major defeat for JP Harlow.
Yeah, I think that was kind of a shock for a lot of people, because JP's really been established as kind of the leader of this group, and that's not to take anything away from Joey, but he I think that he was kind of the underdog going into this match.
Definitely. I mean, we've seen JP Harlow have a very long streak of wins. And so this was really interesting that he had to go against someone that he has been brothers with and cares for. And this was definitely a match to kick off the night. Let us know in the chat. I know there were some people that were there. Bob Berger said he rolled out by us and it was a nasty cut. I can say I did see the aftermath in person, and there definitely was some chunks of forehead out. So it definitely was rough. But Joey pulled through, and that was amazing to see.
And was just the pre-show.
And this was just the pre-show. And JP, so Tusslemania, that was a big moment that happened. Tusslemania got involved as well. JP should not have put his hands on Tusslemania. Don't get in the way of Tusslemania. Maybe he'll hop into the chat and he can let us know what he was thinking to jump in there. Yeah. Yes, we had an amazing ring crew. I think Brian even jumped in there to help. We had so many to come in and help clean that up because it was definitely messy, but that's what wrestling is. It's a live show, things happen, and you have to be prepared for anything.
Well, I think the next match had some like cleanup involved too, if I'm remembering the order correctly.
Yeah. Rebecca J. Scott and Black Swan. We'll get to that one. We can move into that. But yeah, there was definitely some roses presented that got everywhere.
Yeah, the vibe was still a little weird in this one. We talked to Rebecca, I think it was last week, right?
Yeah,
and she, you know, was starting to get a little disappointed that her like messages to Black Swan were not being returned. We don't even know that they were necessarily received either. So I don't know. The whole thing was very odd. And once Black Swan started like paying attention, like the things just got a little creepy.
Yeah.
The vibe, creepy.
Yeah.
But the match was awesome.
The match was awesome. But before we even get to that, to kick off the show, so before we even dive in, which was a very important aspect of the show that happened on Saturday, there was an announcement from our general manager.
Oh, that's right. This happened before because Joey was they were the pre-show.
Pre-show.
Okay.
And we kicked off the show with the announcement that the Mission Pro Wrestling tag team titles are now vacated. So Maddie and Roche Chanel Bougie Reality dropped the titles. And so this was a really big announcement. And on Saturday, there was 2 surprise matches that were announced. It was 2 fatal 4-ways to find the number 1 contenders for the tag team titles. And this was a surprise for everyone. And this was a big announcement from our general manager. And so we had some added matches to the card that were just announced on Saturday. So we're going to break those down too. And we got to see some amazing returns and some debuts in those matches. So what did you think about this huge announcement? The tag team titles are now up for grabs.
Well, it's pretty surprising. It really does change a lot in Mission Pro. But like you said, it brought us to these 4-way matches, which were both super exciting. And the way it turned out, like, I don't know, we'll get to that, but like the winners of these matches who are now, in tag title, I guess you'd call it contention at this point, they are people who have like really been looking to solidify themselves, or in some cases re-solidify themselves in Mission Pro. So like, I don't know, the whole landscape is changing very quickly.
Exactly. I mean, what I loved about the announcement of these fatal 4-ways is that it gave an opportunity for people making their debut to shine, and also just get a chance like to be a number 1 contender already, like right off the bat. We'll talk about who obviously won those matches, and there are definitely some Mission Pro favorites there. And it will be interesting. Again, the stipulation is that the winner of those 2 matches, they get to pick their partner for the February 10th show, Sleepless in San Antonio, February 10th. So we don't know who those partners are. So that's also another exciting added element, is that they can pick anyone. And that is wild to think about, the possibility.
For sure. Because like they really could introduce someone to Mission Pro, or it could even be, I don't know the details exactly of how like how their brains will be working, but like you could think like, for example, like Roche Chanel, a bummer that she has to relinquish her tag titles. Then there's this 4-way, the opportunity for her to get back into the mix. We'll talk about this later, but could she be, selected as well? I don't know. Like it really could be anyone, but you have to imagine if you're the winners of these 2 matches, like what are they going to be dealing with until February? Because you got to imagine they're going to be getting a lot of messages, a lot of texts, a lot of calls, because everyone's going to want to be on one of these teams.
Exactly. And honestly, like you bring up the point of Roche Chanel, and Roche has been tag team champions. She's been a tag team partner since May of 2022. So
Yeah.
the longest reigning tag team champions at Mission Pro Wrestling, that's an advantage for her. So if she wants to like partner with one of these winners, that might be an advantage to that to one
For
of the
sure.
and so that's like the strategy I think a lot of these competitors are going to have to think about going into February. They have 2 months to figure it out. And I think people are going to be, they either have someone in mind, they're going to be watching people, maybe they're scouting. There's tons of ladies in Central Texas and around the world that they could be looking at. And I think that's exciting. That gets me really excited.
And when we get to who won the matches, I mean, I'm sure everyone will have some thoughts on like how many friends they may have waiting in reserve.
And you got to be careful because you might have friends, but you might have enemies too.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
You kind of have to be careful. Walter says Santa was there too. That is true. Santa and Mrs. Claus was at Silver Bells, and Santa was passing out cookies. And I think some people got coal as well. So some people were on the naughty list. So I saw coal getting passed around as well. Well, let's get into the other matches. We did. I know we briefly mentioned Rebecca J. Scott, Black Swan. So this was after the announcement. We kicked it off with Rebecca J. Scott versus Black Swan. And again, we had all of these messages getting passed back and forth over the last few weeks, all these mysterious messages. And how did you feel about this match? And everyone in the chat, what do you all think about this? I know Black Swan is a favorite. They definitely sharing her name.
We knew that Rebecca was a really anticipated debut. We could see from if you recall, she had a change in her schedule when she was supposed to be on a mission 2 weeks ago, and that was super anticipated. Everyone was excited to hear from her last week. You know, going into this show, a lot of people had requested her. She's really on the up and up. But with taking on Black Swan, like this match was going to have so many eyes on it, so much attention. It was we're going to go into spoilers, but Black Swan got another definitive victory, which I think just really, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to give advice necessarily to anyone, but like Black Swan is someone that I would be looking at for a tag partner. If I was going to be going after the belts, that's a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, Big Mike says, Bob Berger, if there's one thing I love in a wrestler, it's a commitment to the bit. Rebecca Scott is fantastic. And then another comment, a lot of people are saying Rebecca is extremely talented, but maybe work on how you approach people. That might be true. That I think Big Mike has a point there, that maybe the approach was not as welcoming as Black Swan wanted. Angel Maurice, who was there, I believe, as a Christmas tree. I love Black Swan so much, but I don't feel like she should have attacked RJS with the flowers. I just think RJS wanted to be nice.
Is that it's hard, it's small, so it's hard for me to see, but is that you as a Christmas tree in your avatar photo?
The ornaments, I think
it's very cute. From what I can see, it's very cute.
So this was true. I mean, what do you feel about this? Is like we always try to like have an open, welcoming environment, and the fact that, again, what Angel brings up is that Black Swan attacked with the flowers, and it just, I don't know. That's not very welcoming, but maybe she's tired of all those notes, she was
and the thing too about Black Swan is when you think about her career so far in Mission Pro, she's had to deal with JP, she's had to deal with Men's Revolution, she's had to deal with, she's constantly really been an underdog, and I don't think she was going to let Rebecca get the jump on her. I think, and we also know that she is someone who's very comfortable in a weapons-oriented environment. Even if that weapon is just flowers this time, Black Swan will bring it. So I think that she was just really trying to, establish that, you're stepping in to a place where I am becoming a dominant wrestler. And I don't know, but I thought the match was awesome. I thought even though she didn't win, Rebecca was super impressive. And I know that there's a lot of people already asking that she come back to Mission Pro. So, yeah, it just seems like, again, these are two wrestlers to watch, not just in Mission Pro, but in general.
Yeah, no, for sure. Bob Berger says, maybe Rebecca just wanted a friend. That is true, but that's when you get a tag team partner. You don't necessarily make friends with your opponent in the ring.
Well, hey, that's one way that Rebecca could come back to Mission Pro, though. Maybe she needs to start sending some messages to the winners of the four-ways and see how that works out.
Maybe there's some special messages and some flowers getting delivered. I don't know. We'll have to see.
No, the four-way was not next. No,
No, the next one is Misty Marks versus Emily J. So let's talk about that one.
That was another big debut for Emily J. Another very, demanded person to come to Mission Pro. And Misty Marks, well, we've dealt with Misty before. We know that like she's got a chip on her shoulder, especially when it comes to people making their debuts here in Mission Pro. And she is very, very aggressive.
Well, and we also saw Misty Marks again not be as friendly on the Mission Pro Wrestling Welcoming Committee as we try to provide. So she definitely, there was already some tension there. And we saw it on social media ahead of the show. So it's like every time Misty Marks comes in, there's this attitude, there's this sense of kind of belonging, like this place belongs to her, kind of an ownership place, a sense of just this is my place to be, and like trying to get rid of everyone else. And she definitely brings that to the ring, and there's a lot of tension there.
Well, and I mean, in this particular match, like Emily was super impressive. She actually almost won at one point. She had a pinfall, and Misty was able to get her foot on the ropes, but in the end, it was Misty who got the victory. So she did what she said she was going to do, and you can't take that away from her.
Yeah, exactly. And, Misty is one of those types of competitors that when she says something and she puts her mind to it, she definitely is going to achieve it. And so it's been a while for her to be back at Mission Pro. It's been a little while. So it's nice that she still kind of is nice in some ways. Again, I think she needs to work on her welcoming approach as well. But I think it was nice to have her back. And definitely the Mission Pro fans were excited to see her back. Wrestling Road Stories, Emily is great, and I like the way La Mera Mera put it. Misty was nasty.
Yeah.
So another wonderful thing about Saturday is Thunder Rosa. La Mera Mera was on commentary with Lexi, Lexi is multi-talented as well, has been a ref before, has been our ring announcer, and so we had them on commentary, and it was so entertaining to watch them both do their thing.
Yeah, Thunder Rosa she does so much commentary, but it's usually, Spanish language commentary. Yeah. So we don't always get unless you speak Spanish, you don't always get the full Thunder Rosa effect on commentary. And her insight is always so great. Plus she's so funny. They did a great job.
And she knows a lot of these competitors. She's trained with them. She's been seen them grow. So it's really amazing to kind of get that insight from her as well. Walter is saying that someone should pick Veda, should pick you as a partner.
I am not opposed to becoming a tag champion in Mission Pro. However, I will say that I am unavailable. I'm letting everyone know right now so I don't start getting aggressive messages from, say, Rebecca J. Scott thinking I'm trying to steal her spot or something. I'm unavailable on February 10th. So
oh no. Well, change those plans. No.
I will be watching the event. But I am not available to be there. So unfortunately, I cannot team up with either of the winners.
Oh my goodness. Well, speaking of winners, let's talk about the first Fatal 4-Way.
Yes.
We had Jasmine Allure versus Danny Moe, Roche Chanel, and Denise Day. And it's been a while since we've seen Danny Moe at Mission Pro Wrestling. Roche Chanel obviously is the former second half in the Mission Pro Tag Team champions, and then Denise Day. This was, I think, her second or so match with Mission Pro, and then of course Jasmine Allure, a former Mission Pro champion. And so this was an amazing match. Jasmine fought through everyone to become the winner of this Fatal 4-Way, so she'll be moving on to that tag match. So what did you think of this moment, Veda, and everyone in the chat? Because this was wild.
It was a wild match, and when you think about who was involved, well, of course we've talked about Roche before. She was trying to get back in contention for titles that she technically never lost. Yeah. That she's still trying to fight for that. But that's the danger of a 4-way match. It's not one-on-one. So, for example, even though Roche was it looked like she was about to just end this, Jasmine was able to slide in and get the win. And that's a spoiler, but Jasmine Allure won, which was interesting to me, especially because we didn't even 100% know what Jasmine was going to be doing on this show. Carolina had told her that she would have a match, but we had to figure out what it was going to be. And now she's in contention for the tag titles. And you keep in mind, Jasmine is a former Mission Pro champion, even though it wasn't, a long reign, she is. So she has the opportunity now to become a double champion, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot like at stake here, and I think Jasmine going into this fatal four-way was really seeing like the path forward. And I felt really awful for Ricochet, because Ricochet not only had an emotional night vacating the titles, but then is told you're going to be in this fatal four-way. I think just for her, I think there was a lot of weight in this match and a lot of emotion, and I think there's a lot going on in your head, and I don't know if she was fully prepared to go into this type of match. I know she always brings her A game, but I feel like there was just a lot going on for her in this moment.
Well, and she had prepared, she had been wrestling so much as a tag wrestler, and it's difficult to go from that into a four-way match like this where, pins are getting broken up, the action was nonstop. And then talk about Danny Moe, too, someone who's coming back to Mission Pro, was stepping in and thought that she was going to be in a tag team match as well. And now had the opportunity, things were changing all over the place. Everyone had to adjust. And then Denise also had the opportunity to go from making a return to tag title contention. So there was just so much on the line. I wasn't surprised, though, to see Jasmine be the one to pull it off, because, regardless of how you feel about sometimes her behavior, when it's time, Jasmine Allure is always able to get it done.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it just showed that whether you're coming back after a long return, like Danny Moe came back, and you're given one match, and the card is always subject to change. Anything can happen at shows like this. And so this just shows that everyone stepped up in the moment and really just put their best foot forward, even with all the emotions and just the changes of everything. So I think this was a great way to have Jasmine step up and again be in line for a potential new title. And so I think
Brett makes a really interesting point. Says I think Ricochet Chanel needs a world title shot. Well, you have to imagine that Ricochet is going to be just reevaluating a lot of things right now, and she didn't technically lose the tag titles. So if I'm Ricochet, I got to do some thinking. That's a good point.
Yeah, I think that is a really good point. And I think a lot of these ladies heading into 2024 are going to really be looking at what is their future at Mission Pro, what do they want, and I think I think the tag team titles race, and fight is going to be really interesting to watch.
Yeah.
I think let's move on to our next match. This was, again, one of the most talked about matches, I think, of the night and leading up to this moment, Silver Bells 3. Izzy Moreno returns versus Impact's Kylan King, who has not been at Mission Pro Wrestling for about a year, a little over a year. And so it was amazing to have her back and against Izzy Moreno. And this was a huge match, lots of back and forth on social media from both opponents. And there's a lot of fire in this one. Unfortunately, a little spoiler, Izzy was not able to get the win.
She came really close.
Over Kylan King.
Really close.
She did. And it just shows that she's getting better each time she's in the ring. She's fighting. She has that fighting spirit. And slowly she's going to get to that point where Kylan King is. But she's in her debut year.
Yeah.
But I think it was an incredible showcase for both of them. And I love how they both had their moments to shine. For someone that's been in the ring like Kylan for promotions all over the world versus Izzy, who's just starting out, they definitely work together really well.
Yeah, and Kylan used to be such a staple of Mission Pro, but she has just been incredibly busy with her Impact schedule. And think about this. This was what was blowing my mind is Izzy wasn't even wrestling, wasn't even having matches the last time we saw Kylan in Mission Pro. That is how fast stuff can change in wrestling and how fast you can rise through professional wrestling. To have Kylan back and take on this match with Izzy, I mean, and then we saw afterwards, like, it takes a lot to impress Kylan King. Like, she fights some of the best in the world. And like, it just goes to show, like you said, maybe Izzy didn't get the win. She was able to get that armbar cinched on a couple times, and it was real close.
It was really close, and it just showed the respect that, and then Kylan did had this amazing promo at the end of the match, and they showed just the mutual respect that Kylan has for Izzy, that Izzy is working towards her dreams. Izzy's working towards, you know, being a professional wrestler, and and Kylan just showed that respect for her. And even though obviously Izzy, like I was very surprised Izzy did not get this win. I was like, there was moments, like you said, where I was like, this might happen for Izzy right now.
It feels like it's just so close. I think Angel just said 2024 is going to be Izzy's year. Like, it feels like she is so close.
Yeah, I mean, she was super close, and it just shows that like her moment will happen, right? And it just has to be the right time. Brent was like, Izzy looked really good. Kylan said, imagine Izzy when she's 25. It's true. I mean, it's like it's amazing to see the progress of like 2 years, 4 years in, and so to watch, you know, Izzy's journey is going to be amazing to watch, and we're so happy that she's a part of the Mission Pro family. I mean, to think about seeing the matches from Kylan King from 4 years ago and seeing that growth and that transition, it's amazing. And so I think we're all on this journey, and you know what I loved is Kylan uplifted Izzy, even though there was a loss for Izzy. That's what we're here, is like we uplift other people and help them on their journey, and that was like a big powerful moment. If you missed it, you can go back and watch it on Title Match. But it was a powerful moment for everyone there.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you got to imagine there's going to be a rematch. It might be a few years down the line. They might be in very different places in their career, but it's so exciting.
Yeah, it really is exciting. And then speaking of another, heading into like the next Fatal 4-Way match, which was very exciting, was Maya World versus Olivia Rose versus Heather Monroe and Kaliantita. And this was, so originally it was supposed to be Olivia, it was supposed to just be a 3-way at some point, and then it shifted again because card is subject to change. And so this was again one of the Fatal 4-Ways for the #1 contender spot for the tag team titles. So again, a lot at stake here. And Heather Monroe has, you know, been at Mission Pro before, but it's been a while. So it was nice to like have some debuts. Kaliantita made her debut. Heather Monroe and Olivia has returned. Olivia was last here over a year ago at the last Silver Bells. So it was nice to like see her grow in this past year. And then again, Maya World has been a staple the last few Mission Pro shows, and we've seen her really kind of take over and become a Mission Pro favorite. And Maya World, just spoiler alert, Maya World came out on top for this match, and so she is one of the #1 contenders for the Mission Pro tag team title. So she has to pick her partner.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people have been saying as Maya continues to grow, particularly in Mission Pro, people were wondering like when she would maybe get started to get talk about for like title contention. And now she's managed to get herself in a position where she can pick her partner. She could become a tag champion. Like, that would just really be, you know, I think a great culmination for the growth and the journey of Maya World so far in Mission Pro.
Exactly. I mean, Maya World has been just every time she's in the ring, she grows and shows different things she can do. She had some scary moments in this show. She had a really scary spot that I think we were all a little worried. not gonna joke about it, but it was very scary. But she pulled through and got the win. I'm excited to see who she picks. Kaliantita had an impressive debut. She's part of the Hybrid School of Wrestling, and so has been training really, really hard to get in-ring ready. And she definitely had a great debut, and we're excited to have her back at some point at Mission Pro, maybe February 10th. Who knows? She might be someone picked, or she might have a match. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see.
But yeah, everything is always shifting. Like, titles are always on the line. Like, it's a very exciting time.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I love how we had so many debuts this show. We had obviously we had some surprise matches, but that's what wrestling is so amazing that way, is it keeps you on your toes and entertained. And this definitely was an entertaining show, and we had some entertaining matches. And speaking of entertaining matches, let's talk about the main event. We had Lady Bird,
yes,
versus our retaining. I'm ruining it for everyone. Our retaining Mission Pro Wrestling champion, Tiffany Nieves. Let's talk about this.
Well, we have been talking about like people trying to get into contention. Lady Bird got there by winning the Mission Pro Cup and then, cashing that in essentially to get this match for herself. And we saw last week Tiffany was kind of trying to stir the pot a little bit, saying that Gigi Ray didn't approve of this. I don't know about all of that. All I know is that Lady Bird came ready. She came very close to winning that title. But Tiffany Nieves, I mean, I don't know if she's scheduled to have any other defenses in 2023 because she has been a fighting champion. But at least as far as Mission Pro events are concerned, she's ending the year as champ.
Yes, so this was our final show. So I don't know if she's having any other matches outside.
I mean, the year is almost over, but also I wouldn't put it past her because she really does seem to be devoted to being a fighting champion.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely a fighting champion. There was so much. I know we talked about some of these other matches having emotion, but I feel like this one, Lady Bird was so focused and so determined to make the fact that she cashed in the Mission Pro Cup worth it, right?
Yeah.
It's a big deal. It's like you're getting your title shot. This is a really big deal.
And you have no idea when that could happen again because there are so many people in contention, so many people in the running. Like Lady Bird waited, she held on to the cup, she picked her spot. She came into this ready.
Yeah, she came into this ready. She came, Lady Bird came in focused. And what I loved is when you were there live, I don't know if you could tell when you were watching, but live, there was moments where the crowd was chanting for Lady Bird, and Lady Bird was winning over the crowd. And it's just amazing to see the support that Lady Bird has found with Mission Pro fans, because she started as a trainee. Like she started with a seminar with Thunder Rosa like 2 years ago, and then has worked her way into title contention. And it's been an amazing journey to watch. So I feel like there was a lot of fire. I think she was bringing a lot of moves and things like that we haven't really seen. She's also brought in our favorites that we like to see. But I feel like there was an aggression there that I haven't seen from Lady Bird really in a while or ever. I think there was some fire there. And you can see she was trying to get through and weaken Tiffany and make it worth it.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see now what happens with Lady Bird in 2024, because she did cash in the cup and she wasn't successful. But now she knows like what it's like to be one-on-one in a championship match in the main event. Like she has that experience. She's like able to refocus now. She has some time. Gigi Ray, is not going to be in Japan forever. So I'm very, very intrigued to see what direction Lady Bird goes next and how she refocuses and how she regroups.
Yeah, Angel Marie says Lady Bird definitely pissed Tiffany off when she got her crown. That's true. La Princesa does not like people touching her crown. She said
she has multiple tiaras, so
exactly, yeah,
that's of different sizes depending like on how she feels that day. Like she takes it very seriously.
Yeah, but you don't mess with you don't mess. Just like Izzy was touching the title, you don't touch the crown.
Yeah.
She'll soon be flying high with the MPW title. The Cloverleaf was definitive. Great to see a staple hold being used again. Yeah. So what was interesting is Lady Bird lost by submission. So it was that looked so painful at the end.
Yeah, and that is also how Tiffany defeated Izzy Moreno at Ladies Night Out at WrestleCade a few weeks ago. And I remember asking, La Princesa, she had mentioned to me before the match, like for commentary, like keep your eye out. I have some new things to bust out. Yeah. And then afterwards she was like, yeah, no, she wants to have a submission. She wants to tap people out. She wants to have options. And I think definitive is a good way to put it. Like if you can make someone tap out, like you have very successfully retained your title and sent a message. And I think that is exactly what Tiffany's trying to do.
Yeah. Walter says you have to study Tiffany Nieves and be on your A game if you're going to defeat her. And I think what I liked about this match is that you could study Tiffany, right? Like Walter says, you can study, but if she's bringing new stuff that you're not aware of, and her strategy is changing every match, and her move set is changing every match, you don't know what you're in for. And so that's throwing off her opponents. And again, then they don't know what they're in for, and then they're going to submit. So it's definitely like, it kind of makes her opponents a little nervous, a little, keep them on their toes. And it's definitely going to be interesting in 2024 to see what else Tiffany might bring to the.
Because we don't know. We don't really know who's next for Tiffany in terms of Mission Pro, in terms of February. I mean, that's a few months away. There's a time for people to step up. And we've even had like people you would think would be in contention. And then like, remember when Hyan had her on a mission making her debut, and literally on the show, she was like, no, I want a title shot. I want to be in the main event. Like, it could change at any time. Someone could come from nowhere. So exactly. I don't know.
Well, and that's what's interesting is I feel like everyone is keeping an eye on Mission Pro Wrestling. Yeah. So anyone can call their shot. Anyone can make a social media post and challenge for championships. It seems like that door is open, and who knows what will happen in 2024. We can see anyone through these doors.
Okay, so you're really going to make us choose our favorite match?
Yes,
after
everyone.
We went through all of them.
Yes.
Those 4-ways were so exciting. They were so good. Obviously, like the main event was incredible, but you can't say like, oh, the main event stole the show. It's the main event. Like, it's supposed to be incredible. I have a pick for myself now that I've thought about it.
Okay. What's your pick? I'm asking the chat. So
I am going to say Kylan and Izzy, because it had so many emotions, and it really just... Izzy is so close to finally picking up a win at Mission Pro. She's going toe-to-toe with people who are like... Kylan is a former Knockouts Tag Champion. She's on TV every week. Izzy is stepping up more and more. And also Kylan, like, to earn the respect of Kylan King is a big deal. And I don't know. I feel like that match, it was like peeking into the future for me. And it really just lays out like a lot of what we can look forward to in 2024. So I gotta say that's probably my pick.
Okay, well, you have some people in the chat that agree with you. Brent Ross agrees with you. Some Road Stories agrees with you.
We got some picks though for Black Swan and Rebecca. That was a great match too.
Veda, I am going to disagree with you. I loved every match. Let me just preface that. All of them were amazing, but I have to say Black Swan versus Rebecca J. Scott was one that really had me just like full in watching. The storytelling was really great. I feel like because they had all this tension leading up with the scrolls and all of the mystery, I feel like it kind of added so much to the match live in person. And so I would say that one, like Bob Burger says, there was layers. The layers.
Well, and like every time that we see Black Swan in Mission Pro, like, and we talk about, well, what was the most exciting match? What was the match that you remember most? Yeah. Her match is almost always, if not the top choice, it's up there. She is someone who makes an impression. And it seems to me that Rebecca J. Scott is the same way. Like, in order to stand out in your debut on such a loaded show, like, you really have to bring it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think both of them told really amazing stories, not only with their moveset, but also just surrounding the match itself. So I feel like there was those undertones there. Angel Marie agrees that favorite would be Black Swan versus RJS or Izzy versus Kylan. So it looks like we're all on the same page.
But everything was great. That was the thing. It was difficult to choose.
The whole show was awesome. Like Matthew Barnes says, Big Mike says, I agree. Great show from top to bottom. And that's what really is important, is we're putting on amazing shows for the fans of women's wrestling and for wrestling in general. And February 10th.
Sorry, I'm tied up in my... I
was like, are you okay?
I'm fine.
You did like a T-Rex.
I didn't know. I didn't understand what was
happening. Are you a Minosaurus?
I didn't understand what was going on. All right, we're okay.
All right, you're okay, Veda. You survived. All right.
Oh, look at this. Angel Marie, in February, fun fact, the show is 2 days after Angel's birthday. So
Well,
hopefully you get to be there.
birthday
Yay.
party at Mission Pro. Well, everyone mark your calendars. February 10th back in San Antonio at the Salvation Army Mission Corps. Tickets are on sale and sponsorships are open. So Mission Pro Wrestling at gmail.com. You can email and sponsor your favorite wrestler, sponsor your favorite matches, or sponsor the show in general.
And you'll get to find out, well, I don't know when we're going to find out, but closer to the show, who's going to be in this tag match. I don't know.
Exactly. So those partners are mysteries right now, but we will be announcing matches in the coming weeks. In the next few weeks, we'll have some special guests on a Mission every Tuesday. We will be taking some time off for the holidays, so please, we'll post about that and let you know when we're going to go live or taking some time off. But before we sign off, thank you all again so much for supporting our last show of the year. We can't do it without you. I'm trying to find the official number, but we did raise lots of money for the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club. We are still raising money as part of our kettle. So it's a digital kettle you can donate. So we'll be sharing that again. And we had our toy drive and everyone brought toys and it was so wonderful. And that's going to go to amazing families. And we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for supporting. And we can't wait for 2024. It's going to be really, really special. Veda, where can everyone follow you?
Check me out at It's Veda Time on Twitter. I have everything off of there. This weekend I'm in LA all weekend. Pray for me. I hate Los Angeles, but I'm excited because I have a bunch of really great shows. And then I have everything on there.
Amazing. Well, I love LA because I'm from there. So.
I know. That's why I feel bad saying it. But keep in mind that I'm from, and my favorite city in the entire world is Philadelphia, which most people think is just a flaming garbage pile. So I don't know.
Okay, next time we have to plan an LA trip and you do it the right way. You got to do it.
Yes, that would probably help.
That will help you. So don't worry. I'll take care of you next time. Well, thank you all so much. You can follow me on all social platforms at Emily May Heller. Follow Mission Pro Wrestling on all of our social platforms. Hit subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when we go live here on YouTube and all of our platforms. And we appreciate you. We will be live next Tuesday, but I believe we're taking it off for Christmas week. So we'll let you know, but we'll have some special guests every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Central. Thank you all so much and have a great night.